We're here dismantling the Presley's home located at 1241 Kelly Street. This house was originally built by Noah Presley, which would have been Vernon's uncle, in the late 20s when he moved to Tupelo. The house in Tupelo at that time was listed as 320 Kelly Street, which was built for Eek Presley, his middle son. In the early 40s, according to the city directory of Tupelo, the house was readdressed as 605 Kelly Street. The Presleys would have lived there when it was listed as 605 Kelly. Later, in the early 50s, the house was again changed and readdressed to 916 Kelly Street. Again, at some point in the late 60s, the house was then changed to 918 Kelly Street. And once again, the house in the 97-98 time period became 1241 Kelly Street, which was its final address. Hi, this is Chris Davis. I'm here with Guy Harris. Guy Harris, please tell us about your heritage here in Tupelo.
Well, I was born and raised down on Adams Street, which was named after my grandfather, Guy Adams. One day, myself and Odell Clark built a little wagon. So we took that little wagon up to the top of that hill, and we were talking with Elvis, and we told him he wanted to ride it first. So we told him just to take that thing and get on it, and we would give him a send-off, and to be sure that he didn't get hurt, and watch those trees, because they were several, probably 6-8 inch trees down through there. Well, he got about halfway down it, and sure enough, that thing turned over with him. He went one way, and that little little wagon went the other.
We found a cute photo of you and your brothers and your sister with Elvis here, and the back of that photo is dated 1943.
That's right, right there at the Farrell's house, which is about 3 houses down from where we're standing.
But your house and Elvis's house here, literally less than a couple hundred yards apart.
Right, not a whole lot of distance. You know, it didn't take very long. I could get down there a lot quicker then than I could now. We would have come in that door there, which would go out onto a little front porch there that was a little, that stood up off the ground, just real shorter. And then this is the door it went through here, from here to the bedroom that Elvis slept in.
This is a load-bearing wall that went through the house. At one point, it appears to have been in the 80s or 90s, which would have been the last rental. This was a closet for the kitchen, like a pantry room for the kitchen. So we've taken all that out. Of course, it was not original, but we did get down to the original load-bearing wall. You can see the remnants. I'm now standing in what would be the front bedroom, where Vernon and Gladys would have lived. And this would have been the original door outside. We uncovered this as well. That would have been the original door from the porch out. And this is the window that they could have looked out across the street to Noah Presley's home. And as you can see, the age of the original trusses, the original roofing. This wood right here, that's the outdoor wood. That is the outdoor boarding that basically is the structure of the house. You know, even though it is somewhat of the deep south, there were cold winters here. And this house was well built, but no insulation in the walls. Guy Harris came in yesterday and said he recalled a fireplace in the center of the house.
That was a fireplace right there that probably had a, you seen them little breaks?
There was no fireplace standing, but as James pointed out, there is brick there, which should have been the original fireplace. And Guy said, yeah, that's exactly where it would have been. This would have been the kitchen. But what's unique about the kitchen area is, I thought, was the layers of wallpaper. There's multiple layers, and you can kind of go decade to decade to decade. You can see the old cheesecloth wallpaper. This wallpaper was a floral print, and then it was painted over in a pale green. This is some of the original wallpaper right here that was painted over, that didn't get painted over because of appliances, kitchen cabinets, etc. But then you get down to some newer, and then you've even got more latter periods, such as 80s and 90s. If you come over here, clearly into the 80s wallpaper here, but back to the 40s and 50s wallpaper here, that of course again was painted over in a pale green. But it's kind of neat to see. We're down to the original walls, the core of the house, if you will, from the 1930s. Here's an old metal advertising sign that's clearly from, I would say, at least the 50s, if it doesn't go back into the 40s. But we're looking at is the back of the original dwelling of 605 Kelly Street, in which the Presleys lived, we believe, from 1942 to 1944. As you can see, the original window, the original door, this was uncovered today. This has been sealed off for about 60 years, and we've just, the gentleman we're working with, the crew is fantastic, and they've uncovered this. This naturally will be saved and recreated with the window open, the door open, as it was originally when Elvis and his parents lived here. This area was part of the add-on as well in the 50s. This would have been the mud room. There's plumbing in here. The plumbing would have been new to this house in the 50s, as when the house was built in the 30s, and during the time the Presleys lived here in the 40s, it would have been outdoor plumbing, as characteristic of a poor rural East Tupelo.
I'm here with Pam Howard, who used to live here at 1241 Kelly Street. How are you, Pam?
Doing good. Well, this is my childhood home. My mom and dad raised 3 kids here. They got it in the mid-50s, and I was born in 1959. I was the 3rd youngest child, and I lived here till 1975 when I got married.
Tell me the name of your father, please.
George W. Thompson, and my mother was Dewdrop Thompson. I remember a big black car coming down because Noah lived across the road from us, Noah Presley.
This is the site of Noah Presley's house, which, as you can see, is directly across the street from Vernon Presley's house.
But he had slowed down to see Mr. Presley, and my dad come out and spoke to him, and I saw it, and I was just amazed at the big car and stuff. I was just 10 years old.
Sure.
And his window was down, and I saw 2 girls in there with him, and he just looked at me, and then Daddy went back in the house, and I was just looking, and they just started taking off, and I just started running after them. Just, trying to watch
Sure.
and see and everything.
So Elvis was driving, or was he in the back?
No, he was in the back too.
So he had a driver?
He had a driver.
And just him and 2 girls? Mm-hmm. That sounds just like Elvis, doesn't it?